8 people are dead and 11 injured after a vehicle attack near the World Trade Center.
The truck began driving down a bike path around 3 o'clock yesterday afternoon. It stopped once it collided with a school bus. The driver, Sayfullo Saipov, left the truck and began waving a pellet and a paintball gun. Saipov was shot and apprehended by police. He's now in a hospital recovering from his injuries.
29-year-old Saipov is an Uzbeki national who's considered a loner. He came to the U.S. legally in 2010 and likely lived first in Ohio, had a Florida driver's license, and lived recently in New Jersey. Saipov was also an Uber driver who'd made some 1,400 trips before taking that rented Home Depot truck to mow down pedestrians.
A man is now dead after holding a teacher hostage for hours at an elementary school in Southern California. Castleview Elementary School was put on lockdown and eventually evacuated after a parent entered the school, punched a teacher, and then barricaded himself in a classroom with another teacher. SWAT teams were able to apprehend the suspect, who later died. The teacher is all right. Property damage from the California wildfires now exceeds $3.3 billion. Based on the amount of claims, the fires are confirmed to be the most expensive and deadliest to ever hit the state. Also something to consider, that figure of $3.3 billion only refers to insured losses.
A settlement of $500,000 has been reached in the highly controversial arrest of the University of Utah nurse back in July. Body camera footage of the arrest went viral after Alex Wubbles refused to allow police to collect blood from a patient. Wubbles will be giving a portion of the settlement to a nurses' union for a campaign to stop physical and verbal abuse of nurses on the job. All right, here's what's happening. If you were busy with Halloween last night, like many were, you probably missed that Republicans announced late last night that they're going to push back the release of the tax reform bill now until Thursday. They missed that self-imposed deadline that they touted about November 1st, of course, today, but they're saying they're going to delay it by a day. Sources told CNN the delay was not due to the New York terror attack, but instead due to ironing out key details on the tax plan. Things like the highest earners tax, will it stay the same, which is something Republicans said, as well as a fourth tax bracket. All of those things still to be known and not unveiled until tomorrow now.
Okay, thank you for that update, Angie.
Waiting with bated breath. Thank you.
With the fiscal year finished, One Columbia Utility Advisory Board is moving forward with some big projects. KMUH's Daniel Esteve is live to tell us how One Columbia Group is ready to light up downtown.
A partnership between the Water and Light Advisory Board and the Downtown Columbia Improvement District will be one of the topics of discussion at a meeting that will be held right here behind me at 8 a.m. this morning. The completed project will aim to make downtown Columbia safer by lighting it up. The Water and Light Advisory Board hopes to inch closer to finalizing this project at this meeting this morning. One board member told me the project is almost ready to go, but a couple details still need to be cleared up.
Establish an area that they want to do, the type of light, the type of pole, the type of color of the pole, and all the various aspects of what would be the most workable in the CID area.
Now, there'll be a couple of different topics being discussed here at the Water and Light Advisory Board meeting this morning. Among those is the biomass project down at Boiler 7, which is going to look to switch up a couple things as far as energy consumption here in downtown Columbia. Reporting live in Columbia, Daniel Esteve, KMUH News.
The state has appealed a court decision that would distribute more than $20 million to about 3,000 people who are blind. According to the ruling, blind people have been underpaid by the Department of Social Services. This is the fifth appeal in a decade-long case. A spokesperson for the Attorney General says they're continuing to contest the judgment, but blind advocates are questioning the state's motive.
I was aggravated and frustrated kind of all at the same time. I guess my biggest reason is everybody has been saying that there's no fight about whether money is owed.
When asked why the ruling was being appealed, the Missouri Attorney General's office did not respond with a comment.
Later this morning, the Veterans Hospital is hosting an event aimed at providing information about VA benefits to the public.
KMUH's Dallas Parker's live to tell us more about that event. Good morning, Dallas.
I'm live in front of Truman Memorial Hospital, where later today, staff will host an event called Coffee with the Executive Leadership Team. The event is at 8 this morning and is dedicated to informing prospective veterans about the benefits and programs offered to them. The hospital's public affairs officer tells me the event is open to current patients and their families. He also says VA officials from other cities in Missouri will be in attendance to talk about their specialized programs. The hospital hopes events like these will help connect veterans to their benefits.
nearly 90% of the veterans who get care from us would recommend our facility to other veterans. Now, we want to keep that going, and we want to make sure that we provide a means and a mechanism for that feedback, and that's what these kinds of events can do for us.
VA reps say they'll aim to have an event like this every quarter. Live in Columbia, Dallas Parker, KOMU8 News.
Nearly $1 million, all for one cartoon. Several rare drawings by the Belgian cartoonist Hergé are up for auction in Paris. He's the creator of the Tintin series. By the time of his death in 1983, nearly 230 million Tintin books were sold.
After a long journey, the Olympic flame arrived in South Korea today ahead of the 28 Pyeongchang Games. Before the opening ceremonies on February 9th, the torch will travel across South Korea, visiting 17 cities and provinces across that country in the hands of 7,500 different torchbearers.
The St. Louis Goodwill is asking for help after it received a donation of war medals. It says someone accidentally donated 5 World War II medals. One of the medals is a Purple Heart. Goodwill says it believes the owner is a Melville doctor by the name of Marvin Cox, who's passed away. It's asking for anyone with any information as to where his family is to call them.
Missouri's DNR now has $41 million more in its pocket after receiving a really big settlement from Volkswagen. But now the state has to decide where to put that money. KOMU8 Sarah Trott's live outside Volkswagen in Columbia to tell us how you can weigh in.
The Department of Natural Resources now wants your input on where to put $41 million from Volkswagen. After the car manufacturer cheated on emissions tests, the payout for Missouri must focus on eliminating air pollution. Missouri's Department of Air Pollution is looking at 10 different options, from replacing diesel engines in school buses and freight trains to building electric vehicle charging stations. Program Director Kira Moore says they're looking for community feedback to move forward.
The more feedback, the better, we think, just because that gives us a feel for what everyone wants to spend this money on. The advisory committee, we're asking for interested parties on that. Again, it is open to everybody. So anyone that is willing to attend meetings and give us feedback, that we would like to hear from them.
Moore told me there's a forum online for interested volunteers or groups to comment and also apply to be on the advisory committee. The committee will decide which projects will be funded sometime next spring. Reporting live in Columbia, Sarah Trott, KOMU8 News.
2 former high-ranking U.S. officials will be in the Midwest today. Former President Bill Clinton, he'll be in St. Louis. He's visiting sites involved with the Clinton Foundation. In Chicago, former Vice President Joe Biden will speak at the Chicago Council on Global Affairs.
Attorneys now have their first and only look at the Las Vegas site where festival goers were shot. So far, only investigators have been able to see the site where a gunman killed 58 people and injured more than 500. Attorneys are pursuing a lawsuit against MGM Resorts, the event promoter Live Nation, and the shooter himself. They're also trying to gain access to the shooter's hotel room. Columbia's airport has seen record numbers, but can they keep them up? That's coming up.
All right, here's what's happening right now. President Trump's opioid commission set to deliver its final report today on the opioid crisis affecting the U.S. The commission, headed by New Jersey Governor Chris Christie and founded back in March, is expected to provide details on how the crisis became so widespread. In an interview with USA Today, Christie said that the report will provide recommendations for solutions. And according to the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, 12.5 million people misused prescription opiates in 2015, and President Trump declared it a crisis of a public health emergency last week. But they'll have some reports for us today. You know, I saw some numbers from the Boone County Drug Take Back that was just earlier. Last Saturday? Yeah, and they said the numbers were up. Yeah. They took back more drugs than ever before. That's a good sign. Good. Yep, thank you.
The World Series is going on, but fans can get a free taco today. Taco Bell is giving away a free taco as part of their Steal a Base, Steal a Taco promotion. Fans can thank Houston Astros outfielder Cameron Maybin for stealing a base in Game 2. Tacos are available between 2 and 6 p.m. at participating stores. Got a turkey question? Just call 1-800-BUTTERBALL. Now that it's November, Meg liked that one. Now that it's November, Butterball is offering some cooking tips for Thanksgiving. Customers can call the Turkey Talk line with questions now through Christmas Eve. Butterball says it opened the line in 1981 and has helped nearly 50 million people since then.
I have a timestamp in my brain of where we are in the year for when we have the Butterball hotline story. I know we're okay.
November 1st.
Right.
We are.
It's coming. Walmart says it will hold more than 20,000 parties at its stores now through the end of December. Attendees can get personal gift guides and toy catalogs. Walmart says it's trying to enhance the in-store experience as it battles online shopping.
Speaking of online shopping, UPS says it expects to deliver 750 million packages this holiday season, a 6% increase from last year. Companies like FedEx and UPS have been investing billions to expand shipping abilities. FedEx says it has hired 50,000 extra workers for the holidays.
Shipping won't be the only thing breaking records this holiday season. A record number of travelers are expected to fly during the Thanksgiving season. It's largely thanks to a stronger economy and low airfares. Airline experts say around 28 million people will fly during Thanksgiving week, a 3% increase from last year.
A new month today means new numbers on passenger flow at the Columbia Regional Airport, and the latest stats are record-breaking. More people traveled through the airport in September than ever before. October numbers should be ready in about a few weeks, but it's no secret things are getting a little cramped at COU. To fix that, airport leaders want to build a new terminal, but that's still years away. In the meantime, can these kinds of numbers keep up?
Yeah, I think it's sustainable. You know, I think that we've got flights to the right places, and the flights are full. So I mean, as long as that's happening, we're in business and we're doing well.
Airport leaders say a runway expansion will make it easier to operate commercial flights, and that should be completed by winter.
A runway expansion is a completely
Sounds way more exciting, doesn't it?
It's very dangerous. 521, that's Jefferson City. We'll be right back.